I'm going to start off, just give a little introduction, the who, what, where, when, why, and how, and what we're going to do over the next 2 hours of our life. So if you don't know me, I'll give you a little bit of an introduction. My daughter did play here for 4 years. She just graduated here in 2023. So I guess if you're a freshman or sophomore, you would have missed her. But the rest of you, if you were here, you probably know Jess. Jess is my daughter. I got involved in softball when she was 10 years old, just like most of your moms and dads. They had kids and they wanted to kind of get them into something. So Jess picked cheerleading, broke her arm, and then picked softball. So we started at 10 years old, and just like most of your dads or moms, Little League coach got sick and they said, hey, we're gonna have to shut down the team. So I decided to be a Little League coach, which led to travel ball coach, which led to running 18 firecracker teams. I coached the firecracker organization in the state of Florida for a while. I've got a 3A state championship that's tattooed on my body because I lost, I don't say lost a bet, I won a state championship. I told the girls if they won that I would get it tattooed on my arm. So we won and they were all there when I got it tattooed on my arm. So that was fun. But I've just been in the game of softball for a long, long time. My professional career, I joined the Navy when I was 19 years old. I spent almost 20 years in the United States Navy. I did supply and logistics, so if you have any marketing, supply, logistics majors in here, I did a lot of that stuff. And then 6 years into the Navy, I went to recruiting, which is where I found my love for working with kids and working with youth and kind of helping people get to the next level, the next phase of their life. I spent 11 years as a Navy recruiter. Joined the Navy with a GED, and I left with a bachelor's degree in child psychology and youth development and a master's degree in child policy development. So I work around kids in my professional job. I have formal education working with kids and their mindset performance. So why am I standing in front of you talking today? Over the last 15 years of doing this, just like most of you have been playing for 12, 13, 14, 15 years, I have seen the great things in this sport, and I've seen the not so great things in this sport. I've seen what it feels like when you're, down by 3 and you hit a walk-off grand slam, and I've been in a game where we've been up by 9 and somehow we lost, right? So I understand the game, I understand the language, I understand the thoughts, the emotions, the process. So I've spent the last 5 years really putting together a program about leadership, mindset development, performance, resiliency, and you guys being able to understand that when you step into that box, right, no matter what happens in that at-bat, it's not a characteristic of who you are. It may be a characteristic of your work performance, but at the end of that at-bat, answer me this question. If I hit a home run, once I run 240 feet, where do I go? I go to the dugout, right? That's the correct answer, right? If I stand there and I look at strike 3, where do I go? I go to the dugout, right? So no matter what my output is in that at-bat, whether I score the run and get it done, or whether I look here and I go, I have to go to the dugout, right? So a champion might win or lose a game here, but they're built in what you do when you go back to the dugout. Does everybody understand that? Right? Like it's literally a mindset and performance thing. And most of your youth career, if you went 3 for 3 or 4 for 4 or 5 for 5, your parents will share you on Facebook and they'll say you're the greatest thing in the world. And if you go 0 for 3 or had a bad game, they'll post on there, Jenny really did all right. It's been a while since she played. Wasn't her best performance, but she is going to continue to work hard. All the while, you're more than likely taking a car ride home about what happened and why you went 0 for 3 and how your parents had to sit there and watch it, and they're not going to pay for another lesson if this is the outcome and performance you're going to put into the game. Look, everybody like, oh, okay, maybe he does know what he's talking about, right? I know what I'm talking about for a few reasons. One, a long time ago when I was a young softball dad, I was that dad, right? Jesse had a fun upbringing, let me be real, right? Love her to death, we're best friends now, but as a young coach, the same mistakes that your parents made, I wasn't infallible and they made a lot of those same mistakes, but through communication, formal education, talking to my daughter, understanding that process, I then said, hey, there's a need for this. So here we are. So that's why I'm standing here. So I've since built a company called Lead Your Journey, which is all about using my formal education plus my lifetime of experience to be able to help girls primarily younger than you right? To catch them so that when they get here and we talk about what we're gonna talk about today, you guys aren't getting here to get ready. You're here ready, and now we just engage. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. So I gave you 2 sheets. One of them says Introduction to Core Values. The other one says, what is team-led leadership? We're gonna do 2 sessions today. The first one we're gonna do is Introduction to Core Values. Introduction to Core Values. Everybody got that sheet in front of them? Okay, cool. So this is gonna be a lot of fun. I like to be a clown. I like to talk. If you've been to any of my PGF tournaments, you know I'm loud and boisterous and like to have fun, right? So this is gonna be awesome if you're interactive, right? Some of you are gonna just jump out and give me answers. Some of you are gonna just sit there and hope I don't call on you, right? So human psychology, if you're a psych major, right? So you're in a group, in a crowd. Here's what happens. 30% of you are super excited I'm here. You're already engaged. You're listening to what I'm saying, and you're gonna take something away from this, and it's gonna change your life. 30% of you cannot wait until I shut my mouth. You can't wait till it's over. You have somewhere else to be, and you're gonna be in and out during this and not really pay attention. The other 40% are on the fence. You're curious, and we'll see what happens. You're the 40% that I'm talking to, right? Because 30% of you are done. You're the ones that go to the dugout, complain, throw your helmet, and wonder why you never get a chance. 30% of you are in. You show up early. You're at the first ones in practice. You're the last one to leave. You know you're in the lineup, and you got it. The other 40%, you're the kids that they told you work hard, and you might have a chance. So we ready to work hard? Yeah. Cool, then we got a chance. Here we go. So core values. I was in the United States Navy for 17 years. I've built teams all across the globe. I've been to 19 different countries. I went to war shortly after 9/11. I've launched 500,000 pounds of ordnance off the pointy end of the spear daily for months on end. Building teams where life and death matters is what I've done for years, right? But in order to build a team where you have trust, would you say you guys have a high level of trust right now in this moment on this team? You say yes? Okay. I don't see a lot of heads moving, which means people are afraid to say no. Okay. Or people are afraid to say yes. So we're all, anybody here over 18? Yeah. So we're all considered adults. We all left our parents' house and said, I can do this on my own. So cool. Let's have a conversation, okay? Would you say that this team has a trust level to go win a national championship this year right now? No, okay? All right, you say yes, you say no, right? So how do we define and build that trust? In any team, the ground base and the model for building trust, building accountability, and being able to know that someone has your back is core values. Understanding that we all believe primarily in the same thing. I'm not talking about politics. I'm not talking about whether, I'm talking about trust. We're all gonna trust each other, and we can trust each other by core value number 1, core value number 2. In the Navy, our core values are honor, courage, and commitment, right? Everybody understand that, right? Honor. I'm honoring to my country, right? I'm not going to disgrace the flag. I'm gonna honor the people that are around me, my team. I'm not gonna go out in my uniform, and I'm not gonna create a mess. I'm not gonna get into bar fights. I'm not gonna break the law. I'm not gonna do drugs. I'm not gonna abuse alcohol. I'm gonna have honor for myself, my country, my family, right? Commitment. I'm not gonna break my contract. The country asks me to do something, I'm gonna go do it. In the face of adversity, I'm gonna keep pushing forward. I'm never gonna quit. I'm never gonna fail. I'm gonna stay committed, right? Honor, courage, commitment. Courage, right? Even when things are hard, I'm gonna see something, say something. I'm gonna do the right thing, even in the face of things that are wrong. So honor, courage, and commitment. That's the Navy core values. You break one of those core values, it's punishable. You can go get punished by the Uniform Code of Military Justice, right? So in here, we're not gonna punish you. I mean, she could, right? She could suspend you, right? She could do something like that, right? She could not give you playtime, right? So you have to follow core values. Does this team have core values? I'm not talking about a paper where they said, hey, we're not gonna get in trouble, but I mean words, definitions. This is what the mocks live by. Do we have that?
We have like a saying this year. It's called effort earns respect.
Love it.
Yeah.
Effort earns respect, okay? So we could use that. We could roll that into one of our core values. For me, it's intentional effort. My other shirt that you'll see me wear all the time says, be the example, right? That's a constant reminder for me anywhere I go, hey, what's that? Be the example. That's what I have to be, right? I can't stand up in here, talk about mindset, performance, being your best self, and Now I'm sitting here looking like Humpty Dumpty, rolling down the street, right? So core values, I love the saying, I love the motto. We're gonna put that in. Effort could be one of our core values, and maybe that's the definition. So what I wanna do is I wanna take this time for your team. Does anybody wanna win conference? Anybody want to win a natty? Listen, Coach Chris, what is it, 92, 93? It says it right up on the board out there, right? 92, 02, 22. 22 years since a trophy has been raised in this room. You're sitting in the perfect room. Sports Hall of Fame. You got trophies back there. You got all of this. 22 years since softball had an opportunity to raise a trophy. Right? So do you guys change that? I know a lot of you. The talent is there. The ability is there. The coaching is certainly there. You got Hall of Famers back here. So where are we at? What I want to do with you all today is build a set of core values that you can use throughout the season as an accountability check, not only for you, but for your teammate. And if you're struggling and you don't know where I'm at, you're going to be able to come to these ladies and say, hey, how come I'm not getting any playtime? Where am I struggling? What do I need to do? Right? And they're gonna go, all right, well, first let's document athleticism. How are we doing athletically? Do you show up? Do you put in extra work? How are you performing in the game? And then let's look at our core values. Because on October 29th of 2024, we created with Coach Bill a core value list that we all create. I'm not telling you these are your core values. She's not asking you to show up and honor her core values. Every single one of you right now are gonna brainstorm and figure out what's important to you. Why are you here? Because you realize you're here. Does anybody not know that they're here? And what I mean by here? You've reached autograph stage. Little girls are watching you. You are the people that you watched 5 years ago, right? So that little girl who had to take that car ride home, she's now that same girl for 25-year-old self. But daddy can't take you to practice. Mommy can't take you to practice. You're now here and have to be self-accountable to an internal drive that says it don't matter what any one of those three women say, I'm gonna show up for me, become my best self so that I can then radiate that to my team so that we can rise, we can get wins, we can overcome losses, we can do a whole bunch of stuff that says we're number one. Because I've seen every single Division II in the conference. I know every single Division II coach. The talent isn't better at the other schools. The coaching isn't better at the other schools. And guess what? You the only one so far with me here, so you got an advantage. You understand what I'm saying? Right? Your coaches are investing to give you every single tool you need in order to be successful. So core values, let's talk about what they are. Core values are fundamental beliefs and principles that guide us in our actions and decisions. They define what matters most to us as a team and influence how we work together. 9 positions on a field, 8 to 10 to 12 girls in a dugout, consistently working towards one goal to start 7 innings, complete 7 innings, have a mindset that says no matter what happens here, I'm gonna continue to push forward. If I get the home run, I'm coming back, high-fiving, I'm great. I'm the number one cheerer right back on the fence. If I get the 0 for 3, I'm the number one cheerer right back on the fence. Because you gotta show up every day, like JJ says, and pay the rent. She paying you, that scholarship don't come in, guess who's giving her a call? Well, hey there, coach, so it looked like a couple $1,000 missing. Yeah, well, it looked like some reps are missing. If she takes something from you, you're gonna ask a question about it. Right? But we need you to show up every day and earn that paycheck. So we do that through core values. In softball, as student athletes, core values provide a foundation of how you approach both your sport and your studies, helping you stay focused, resilient, and supportive. So identify. Right now, I want you all to take a few minutes. You can talk to each other. You can think within your own brain. This is your core values. Mama raised you to push the chair in. Mama raised you to say, yes, sir, no, ma'am. Whatever your core values are, I'll give you some examples, right? Respect, effort, honor, courage, commitment, right? Follow up, follow through. There's a whole bunch of little one-liners that you can think of and come up. So for you, your first thing I want to start is your personal core values. What do I believe in as a person? And if you've never thought about this, check in. because no one's here to save you anymore, right? I know that sounds harsh and you're like, well, I could call dad and he'll put some money in the, that's not what I'm talking about, right? No one can be there in that box. No one can show up for practice for you, right? No one. What you decide when your core values, when you step onto that field, okay, I'm just gonna be here. All right, coach said get 10. 1, 2, I'm done. I'm done. It's not a championship mindset. That's not honoring core values. That's not defending the little girl who went through everything that she went through in order for your behind to be here. Does that make sense? So let's take about 3 to 4 minutes, look internally. I want you to write down. You don't have to be, you write 1,000,000 paragraphs, that's up to you, right? But just engage, right? What do I believe? What do I want? For me, I'm gonna put my first one is mutual respect, right? I want you to approach me the way I approach you, right? You come at me crazy, I'm gonna try to defuse the situation, show you respect. You come at me crazy again, we're gonna try to talk about it, right? So I want you to think about your core values. What do you feel inside about your personal? What do you like? What are you not willing to deal with? What are your non-negotiables? What is important to you in a team setting? What is important to you in this environment? How do you feel you want yourself or others around you to be in order to create a championship mindset? All right, for me, my first one, again, was mutual respect. Right? I'm gonna give respect and I want respect in return. Doesn't mean that I'm ever gonna allow somebody to get me to the point where I disrespect. It just means that I'm not gonna let you get control of me and my emotions, and I'm just gonna shut the conversation down because I'm gonna protect my own anxiety. Does that make sense? Right? Somebody can jump at you. You don't have to jump back. So for me, my first core value is mutual respect. Mama said, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Right? Anybody want to share one of theirs? Who's got one? Go ahead.
It's an intent.
Intent. Okay, explain.
To just like bring intensity and meaning to everything you do.
Okay, do it on purpose. Yeah, I love that. All right, anybody else? Go ahead.
So taking accountability.
Taking accountability. We're gonna talk about accountability in the second session because the A word is a word a lot of people throw around, right? But what does it truly mean? Right? How do you know how to really hold somebody accountable to a process? Give me what you got. It's okay.
No, I just say like if you make a mistake or like say you show up late or like I just think like taking accountability and not like making excuses for yourself.
Love it. Yeah.
Make yourself a better like player and teammate.
Yep. So if you do something wrong, right, own up to it. If you make a mistake, great, right? And if you do something right, own up to it. We're gonna be there to praise you. I love that. Anybody else? Go ahead, coach.
Faith was my number one.
Faith, okay. Tell me, give me what you mean by that.
I think I would just rather believe in all things and all people than not believe in all things and all people.
Okay, so faith in other people, right? That they're gonna do the right thing, that they're gonna show up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if dates, like.
Okay.
Even in playing a softball game, I always think we're gonna win until either we don't or we do.
Yeah. Perfect. You're in it to win it, right? Until it's over. Anybody else? Somebody had a hand here? No? Go ahead.
Honestly, never nervous, always excited, which is like just something I grew up with my dad telling me about. Like when I would be nervous for a softball game, he'd just tell me that I'm excited and to channel that energy and like nervousness into something else.
Never nervous. I like that actually. I'm gonna write it down and steal it. Because that does allow you to and see what that is? We call that self-talk, right? It's a change of the way you just say things to yourself, right? She could say, I'm nervous, I don't know what to do, or she could say, I'm excited, I'm ready to play. It's the same internal feeling, right? I love that. Okay, let me ask you this question real quick as we dig into this. If your teammate were to go 0 for 3 with 2 Ks looking at the plate, right? After you asked her, like, girl, you okay? Like, what would you say to her? What would your thought process be to a teammate who was struggling? Go ahead.
I'd approach them like mentally, because obviously if they're fully like physically capable and multiple people have already checked on them, and especially since we play a game of failure, you go and talk to them like what's going on in your brain, and when you're on a team, you know what someone's capable of if you're at the point of the season.
Yeah.
So you would kind of check in with them mentally, and you can either tell if they're just in their head, which they most likely are, because if, like you said, if you've made it this far, you're plenty capable. So it's just my opinion that approach makes you mentally.
Got it? Go ahead.
I would just let them know, like, hey, it'll be okay, I'll pick you up.
Got it.
You don't have to do it all on your own.
Right. Now, you just went 0 for 3. What are you saying to yourself?
If I'm gonna do shitty in the box, I need to perform in the field.
Okay.
In some way.
Okay. Got it. Right. I got to be helpful in some way. Go ahead.
If it's like like really good pitcher and everyone's like consistently struggling, sometimes I tell myself like, you just gotta tip your cap to them because they could be just a really good pitcher.
Okay.
Or I just flush it. I mean, honestly, like it's a new day tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not always gonna hit 3 for 3, so.
I got it. But a lot of players take that negative and put it on themselves without ever considering giving themselves the same grace that they would give their teammate. And a lot of times just flipping the script, right? And telling yourself that literally, if you judge yourself by every at bat, softball must be extremely painful for you, right? You must lose sleep over this game, right? Because you have to change that mindset. You have to think about all the work that you put in all throughout, right? And sometimes, just like you said, you're gonna show up and you're gonna have those 3 for 3 grades. Does that mean that you're gonna be out here and be on the Mox Hall of Fame because you went with 3 for 3 in one game? No, right? But it also doesn't mean if you went 0 for 3 that you should be on the bench for the next 6 months because you didn't perform this game. Right? You guys have to do what we call control the controllables, ride that wave. If I do well, I'm not going to get too high, too cocky in my head and knowing that I'm cannot be knocked down off this totem pole. If I don't do well, I know that I'm not going to stay there forever and I have positive tools and people around me to be able to bring me up. So riding that wave in the middle. So let's turn the page. We've got core values, your individual core values. Now I want to go a little further. And I want you guys, this is what I want you to really get into this, right? Like take this part serious because here's what's gonna happen with these core values. We're gonna write them down. We're gonna figure them out. We're gonna define them. Once we figure them out and define them, right, we're gonna record them. Once we record them, you're gonna, if you're gonna obligate to this team, it's like your signing day, except mom and dad aren't back there with the t-shirt, right? You're gonna obligate and commit to your sisters that are sitting here, right? And obligate and commit to core values of whatever you choose that they're going to be, and it gives you all a tool of accountability. Hey, look, you've been late for the last 3 practices. Sorry to pick on you. You've been late for the last 3 practices. You know, one of our core values was trust, right? If we're gonna build a team and we're gonna build a team of champions, I gotta trust that you're in here with me. I need you to be on practice on time. Much easier for you to come to one of your players when they're breaking one of the core values that you all have committed to versus, girl, like, I don't care that you was doing, I saw where you really were. You better bring you behind the practice because then she's just gonna think you're catty. She's just gonna tell you to mind your business and it's just going to create turmoil, right? So if you have a tool to be able to communicate with, it should, right? Unless you guys are the exception to the rule, you should see your team trust and your team performance elevate. So I want you all, this is a group right here. You're gonna figure it out. You're gonna be one core value amongst all of you. Matter of fact, let's do it like this. You two come forward. That way, you're gonna be there with them. So this is a group. 1, 2, turn around. You 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 5 core values. Yep. So there we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Your group is going to come up with a core value. I don't want you to just cheapskate it, right? I want you to really, how do you want your sisters around you, your teammates around you to act? How do you want to be able to hold them accountable? How do you want them to show up? What do you want their mindset to be? When you get to January and you all come back, what do you want the mood to be? Do you want to be hopeful or do you want to be focused? Do you want to hope something happens or do you want to engage and make it happen? All of that happens from this moment forward, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need one core value. I don't need the definition right now. Just what is it, okay? And then we'll come back together. We'll get all 5 of them, make sure we don't have any duplicates, and then we'll go and define them. One core value. All right, coaches, you can give me one as a coaching staff as well. Who wants to be my recorder? That means you're gonna write this down for me on my sheet so that I can, perfect. Here we go, you're gonna record that on mine. All right, and I'm gonna steal yours. Yep, right when we write down the core values. Okay, so we'll start here. Core value number 1, you guys went with what?
Unity.
Unity. So they went with unity. You can write these down where the core values are. If we all agree when they're done, we don't have to cross anything out. So the first one that we're suggesting here is unity. Got it. Okay, how about over here? Intensity. I want to be intense. I want to give lots of energy. I want to bring the pain. Got it? Yep. Okay, over here.
Leadership.
Leadership. I want to lead. I want to be a front runner, a stunner. I want to be the number oneer. Oh, I can do that all day. I don't play. There's a whole bunch of things I can stand here and say. But anyway, I'll be like, hey. She'd be like, yay. I'd be like, maybe we'll do it again another day. Ah, that was funny. But you don't know me, honey. It's about to get ugly. Whatever, dog. I'm hungry. All day long. What do you guys got? Effort. Uh-oh, double O, must be trouble O. Got it. What you guys got?
Selflessness.
Selflessness. Let that roll. Recorder. What is core value number 1?
Unity.
Unity. Hit them with the U. What's next?
Intensity.
Intensity. Here. I'll just trade that.
Okay.
There you go. Cool. All right, so unity. Now again, you all have to, we wrote 5 down. Let's see if we hit it out the park on the first shot, if this is what everybody is willing to buy into. Again, coaches are buying into this program. This is what you're gonna be held accountable to. Does everybody know what PT is? It's the number 1 thing you all should be concerned about here other than great grades. So when it comes time for playtime and you're sitting there going, golly, I ain't been on that grass. Even in practice, they got me running laps, right? Then you got to go to coach. I'm just telling you. Then you got to go. Are we all here to compete?
Yeah.
Has anybody ever played this sport?
Yeah.
Right, only 9 can hit the field, only 10 can hit the lineup. The rest of you under that thing called substitute. Am I lying? Right. So we're giggling, but like there's a competitive kid in here that's like, yeah, I know. There's a kid in here who's number 10. You're this close and you don't even know it. They sit in the room with your name on the board every single day and they're like, man, nope, man, nope, right? And then you wonder, like you have no idea how close you come to being one of those 10. And if you sit there and you don't think about that, but you actually think about being a part of the team and having unity, I love psychology. Increasing your intensity and showing up every single day with the mindset that I am going to be the absolute best, no matter what she does, right? It don't matter how they coach, right? If you love their coaching, you should be intense. If you think that they're terrible coaches, doesn't matter. You got 240 feet, 200 feet, you got a rubber, you got bases, you got one of the best complexes in all of Division II softball. So if you're not in the top 9, you got to ask yourself 1, 2, maybe even 3 times. What do I need to do? How am I holding up our core values, right? Am I a leader on my team? Am I giving effort? Do I sacrifice on game day and in practice, right? Because here's what happens. Every team picks the same thing. It's never random. You all always pick the same thing. Do you know why? Because our sport teaches that we have to be together. It's embedded in you since you're 10 years old, that you have to be part of a team, that you have to unite, that you can't do nothing on a softball field without the girl next to you, and she can't do nothing without you. Well, guess what? You're here. Would we agree that unity is a good core value? Would everybody like to feel like when you come, the girl on the field has your back, that when you show up, that girl is there, that you know no matter what, she's got you, right? She's at least gonna give that effort to catch the ball, right? She's at least gonna show up. She's at least, when she's in the cage getting her reps, she's just not counting until she's done, but she asks for more so she can be number one, right? Because that's what our team and our team sport teaches us. During the game, you have to die and fight and burn and turn and do everything you gotta do for the girl next to you. In practice, that's your time, and this is one man's opinion, I get big eyes when I say this. In practice, this is your time to be all about you. Literally, it's your time to be all about you. This is your time to get better. They hit you a ground ball, you didn't like it? Okay, maybe I don't have time 50 for you. There's 35 girls here, but come early, come late. Do what you gotta do, right? If you have no idea, working, didn't make it, hang it. Okay, working, didn't 52 games, coach? 48 games. 48 games. It's up to you. Really is up to you. So, intensity. Would we agree that if we show up with a level of intensity in our life, in our workouts, in our practice, in our game, in our academics, in everything we do, if we show up with the same energy in everything we do that I've given you here today, do you think that you can get somewhere as a team? Do you know, a year ago, I never spoke at a university. A year ago, I never stood before a college softball team, and 5 years ago, right, I was afraid to even walk up to her because she was a USF standout, right? 6 years ago, she was a college coach on the other side of the state, and I'm like, oh my God, how do I even, practice, mindset, resilience, core values, getting yourself out there, putting yourself, right, giving effort, right? I imagined that I was the best sports performance and mindset coach in the country, and guess what I'm on my way to being? Same thing applies to you. All you have to do is step up every day. Let me ask you a question. Who plays middles? Middle infielders? Keep your hands up. We're just gonna go all around the room. Middle infielders? Only 3? 4? Well, dang, y'all are starters. There's only 4 infield positions. Lucky you. Okay, let's put them down. Catchers? Okay, cool. Pitchers? Outfielders? Okay, what am I missing? That's it, right? Corner, well, yeah, to me, that's infield. Yeah, so corners, go ahead. Okay, cool. Now, all your hands up, right? Now, keep your hand up if you are the absolute best in your position on this team. You're the number one kid in your spot. Look, everybody's like, what is happening, right? Okay, put your hand down, right? All right, let's try it again. Everybody put your hand up, right? Now, one of our core values here is effort, number 4. This is not effort. Right? This is I can give more. This dude told me to put my hand up. How long is he gonna ask me to keep it up? But this is your hand up. This is I feel lazy. This is a mindset, right? Okay, keep your hand up. Maybe you didn't hear me the first time. Keep your hand up if in your position, you are the number one kid in that spot right now. Okay? Cool. Second round, we had more hands because they think it's a trick question. Put your hand down, right? Okay, here's the deal, right? If you don't wake up every day without question with your hand in the air, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you waiting for them to tell you that you're the best? Are you waiting for validation from mom and dad? Are you waiting for the stat book? What is it that we're waiting on in order to keep our hand up? Because we've been doing this for 10 years. Anybody start when they were 10? Okay, anybody 20? Okay, maybe you do it for 8. Maybe you started at 8, maybe you're 21. Maybe you started at 10, you're 18. You've been doing it longer than 7 years. That makes you an expert. Expert, right? So, you don't wanna say you're the best, but you get mad when they don't play you. It starts with you. That's the internal clock, right? There's guys that have been speaking so many years longer than me, but you know what? I'll stand up next to any of them and I'll tell them I'm the best. And they can knock me down a mile a minute, and you know what? I'm gonna stand up. There ain't a better taco slinger, tournament director, there ain't a better mindset coach, there just ain't. Because every day when I step up, when I wake up, when left and right hit the ground, no one is going to be able to convince me otherwise to put my hand down when they ask me if I'm the best at something. Doesn't mean that someone's not better than you. But it starts with you. If you don't believe you're the best when you go to practice, your intention is, well, I'm just gonna get better. Okay, when? When does that happen? When? Does it happen at, let's see, 10U, 12U, 14U, 16U, 20U, 22U, or when I give you the diploma and send you on your way? When does it happen? When do we stand up and we say, today, this is me, this is real, I'm exactly where I'm, boom. What is it, when? I'll do it all day long. But when? You understand what I'm saying? Literally, I love bringing giggles, but somebody's hearing me right now. Some of you came here with the intention to do what? To be a champion? To win a title? To get a degree? To hang out with friends? Because I was too scared to tell my parents I don't want to play softball anymore? Champion mindset. Show up every day or turn in your scholarship and let them go give it to somebody else. Why are we here? If somebody says, are you the best? Nope, not me. I'm not that one. Why are you here? Why? Why? And if you're not sure, call me. You got my QR code. We'll figure it out. I'll give you your why. And if you're not sure, check in, right? You can email her. She probably does them on Tuesdays, one-on-ones, right? Whatever, right? And you can ask her. Okay? Figure it out. Why are you here? What is your purpose? Because let me tell you something. Anybody, raise your hand if you know my kid, right? Guess what? Some of you are getting ready to go through the phase that she just went through in the last 18 months. She put on 25 pounds because the game stopped. Then she lost it because she went, oh, shoot, right? I'm just telling you, it happens. The next phase of your life is getting ready to start. If you're a junior and you don't have an internship, what are you doing? Waiting on the junior journey? Come on. You understand what I'm saying? Right? If you're a senior, guess what? 48, bop, here you go. Congratulations. You get a diploma. Softball's over. Enjoy your life. That's how it works. So what are you going to do right now, today, to wake up tomorrow? Once you walk out that door tonight, you've got an opportunity to go, Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. Because guess what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do when you walk out the door. It matters what you do when you walk on that field tomorrow. Y'all got a game tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, right? I thought you playing my boy, playing Kenny G, right? All right, right? So that's where it starts. You decide when you walk out the door today, are we gonna honor core values? Because I don't have to wait. I don't have to get good, right? Does anyone need to practice unity? I'm either with you or I ain't. I either got your back or I don't. That's a black and white. There's no gray area. I'm either helping you get out of the well or I'm kicking you down in it, right? It's crabs in a bucket. Does that make sense? Anybody ever heard the story crabs in a bucket? Like, what are you talking about, crabs in a bucket? You ever see crabs in a bucket? They just be chilling, right? Pull a crab out, what happens? My boy's like, nah, you ain't going nowhere. And he holds on to the crab and he tries to pull him back down, right? People who do negative things want negative things, then they attract negative things. You want positivity, you want to win, you want to be a champion? Right here, it's where it starts. Okay, unity, it's important to be unified. Do we agree that that's a core value? Everybody here is like, yep, we got to be unified. Okay, intensity. Everybody see in the last couple minutes how I've increased the intensity here? And everybody's like, oh, what's he looking at? What's going on, right? Okay, and every once in a while I throw in a little ha, ha, ha to break up all the intensity. Okay, you decide. You. Hit him with the you. You understand what I'm saying? You decide when you show up what you're going to give. You want to be a better hitter? Then when I show up, I should have many goals. What are we doing today, coach? Here's the practice plan. Okay, well, within that, I want X, Y, and Z. Because I know that's my deficiency. I've set goals for myself, and that's what I need to work on. And then coach has got me working on this, and this is how I get better, and then I go and I sacrifice for the team on game day. Make sense? Cool. Leadership. All right, so on every team, there's like Mama Bear or Papa Bear. Who is the team, and this isn't a trick question, raise your hand, keep your hand up. There's a team leader on this team that takes care of everything for everybody. Who is she? Okay, there it is, and everybody normally points to the one person, right? So why is she the leader on the team?
She's not afraid to say what people want.
All right, one at a time, go ahead. Hold on, go ahead.
She's not afraid to answer the question, so she has no hesitation to what she says. She just knows the answer, and even if she doesn't know it, she says something and we all go.
Okay, so she's not afraid to be the first to speak, right? And then you guys are like, okay, yep, coach, yep, she said it, that's what we doing. Okay, back here, somebody had something.
I just made a joke. I said she has 100 alarms.
100 alarms, right? Listen, why you playing, right? Those are the people that are always on time, though. Holla at your boy. You probably got more than that, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, okay, so if you all agree collectively, most of you, that she's the leader, right? Then what qualities does she emulate, okay? And then how can you not be her, but be more like that? Right? If she's somebody you're like, yeah, okay, she don't play, she's got the answer, she's got our back, right? And there's more of you out there, but there's always one kid where we're like, yeah, that's her. If the room list falls out, she knows what room everybody's in, right? So leadership, it's for everybody, but not everybody decides to lead. Does everybody understand that? Anybody here, freshman, who's a freshman? Okay, right now you can lead. I don't care what they say. When you go out to Vieira, yeah, you're gonna have to carry the bow net and the bucket, doesn't matter, but you can lead, right? Yeah, you gotta take up the bases or whatever you gotta do, but you can lead. You can be the first one to show up. You can be the last one to leave. You can be the loudest kid on the field that this isn't being loud, but is talking intelligently and understanding the game and making sense. You can be the freshman that says, Coach, how do I get better? I wanna be in, I wanna create culture. I wanna change the game because you valued me to bring me here, and I'm gonna honor that value with unity, intensity. I wanna be a leader, and I wanna give intentional effort. Intentional effort. I'm gonna add the word intentional to your effort. So if you want a number 4, there's a difference between intensity and intentional. Intensity is the passion and the desire that I bring, like the loudness or not loudness, right? Whatever my intensity level is. But intentional means I'm doing it on purpose, right? So there's a difference between effort. Do you have to show up to practice? Yes, if you don't show up to practice, she's gonna call you, she's gonna write you up, she's gonna be like, what's going on? If you don't show up 3, 4, 5 days in a row, you're gonna get disciplinary action, she's gonna boot you off the team, yada, 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 right? If it goes down that way. So I can show up to practice because I don't wanna get in trouble and I'm here and I'm earning a scholarship, or I can show up with intentional effort. This is why I'm here. This is my goal. This is what I'm here to achieve. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to ask for on the accountability side and feedback, and then I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna start again the next day, right? Because how much is $1 worth? $1, right? And with $1, there's not much that I can do. If I just show up one day and I'm like, I'm gonna be better, and I give full intentional effort that day, but the rest of the week, I do nothing, then that one workout is worth nothing, just as much as the $1. But if I take that $1 and the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day, and by the end of the season, I have $365, now I can do a lot more with each one of those little incremental pieces by putting them together. Does that make sense? And that's your work, that's your intensity level, that's your effort level. And then finally, your last core value, we agree on the first 4, unity, intensity, leadership, and effort. Okay, last one is selflessness. Selflessness, meaning I'm here to do a job, but I'm doing it so that all of us collectively can win together, right? I came here as a third baseman. I'm competing, but I'm not breaking in, but I've got a good stick, so I gotta learn how to play right field. Sorry, right fielder, my bad, right? But I can compete somewhere. I'm selfless. I'm changing what I'm doing for the team. I'm sacrificing for the team. I'm working hard for the team. Selflessness isn't always giving something up. Selflessness is a lot of times giving something. I'm giving more time. I'm giving more effort. I'm giving more intention. I'm giving more positive attitude. I'm not thinking about me in these moments, but I'm doing all of this for us collectively as a group. Would we agree that that's a good core value? Okay, so definition. So we've established our core values: unity, intensity, leadership, effort, and selflessness. Now, I want you to know, once we get the definitions, right, I'm gonna take all of this week, I'm gonna print it all out, I'm gonna make it all pretty, I'm gonna send it back to these ladies, they're gonna send it out to you, and if you agree that this is what you're gonna live your season by this year, then they're gonna have that on file. And when you come to them and you say, Coach, how close am I to being that number 9 in the lineup? They're gonna go, well, let's pull out the evaluation sheet. If they follow what I'm telling you to follow. How are we doing on our core values? How are we doing in practice? How are we doing in the game? That's what you should be evaluated on for playtime, right? Obviously, when you're in the game, if you're smashing and you're dashing and you're doing all that, that's gonna get you more playtime. But if you're a knucklehead and you're not following core values in the outside world, I guarantee you, it'll take away playtime. Promise, right? So, core values. Now we wanna define them. I want you to take just about 2 minutes and your core value that you created, I want you to give me a 2-sentence definition. A 2-sentence definition. Why did you pick this as your core value? Example, I'll give what, if I was picking unity, I would say because collectively as a group, we have to have each other's back, knowing that each girl is here for the team. Right? That's unity. We're all united together, or we could say we're united together towards one common goal, whatever that goal is. I'll let you define the sentences and we'll pull them together. All right, unity, what do you guys got?
We have collectively working towards the same outcome will not prosper without every piece of the puzzle, aka every member of this team.
Collectively working towards the outcome will not live long and prosper. Will not prosper without every member on the team. Is that right?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, does everybody agree with that? Anybody want to add anything?
No.
All right, we'll work them. Go ahead, what do you got here? Go ahead.
With high energy and effort in everything you do to make the game more fun.
Showing up with high energy and effort in everything you do to make the game more fun. Okay, I love it.
I don't remember what the first one was.
It's okay. You don't have to write everything down. We're recording it and then I'm gonna send it back out to them and then they'll get it to you. So I get it. It's all good. All right, over here, which one were you guys? Selflessness. Anti-disestablishmentarianism. Used to be the longest word in the English dictionary, but then it went away because they created more ridiculously long words. Anybody here? You guys good? Effort, what do you got?
Leaving it all on the field and giving it your all, not just going through the motions.
Love it, which is a perfect segue into our next lesson. Good job. Say that again.
Leaving it all on the field and giving it your all, not just going through the motions.
Leaving it all on the field, giving it your all, and not just going through the motions. All right, that's core value number 3 in the back. What do you got?
So we have leadership, and ours is abiding by our new core values and holding our teammates accountable, and then being the change that we want to see.
So following leadership is following the core values. Say the second sentence for me.
Abiding by our core values and holding our teammates accountable.
Yep.
Being the change that we want to see.
Being the change that we want to see. I love that. I do. Be the example. What do you guys got?
Putting what's best for the team first, and then being happy for other people's accomplishments.
And yours was what?
Selflessness.
Selflessness. Say that last part again.
Being happy for other people's accomplishments.
All right, here we go. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna move on. Here we go. Now listen again. I wanna be clear. This is what you all are agreeing to, right? I'm gonna word it up, make it nice and pretty, and make it all kind of come together once you actually get the finalized version next week. But this is it, right? When we come together tomorrow for a game, we're gonna play that game, right? Then you probably have the weekend off, and then I don't know what the rest of your fall practice schedule is. But literally, when you walk out the door, this is what you're going to be held accountable to. When we use that A word, accountable, right? Which is an action, which means when you do something positive, I acknowledge it with either adjustment, correction, or praise, right? If you do something that needs improvement, I acknowledge it with either adjustment, correction, right? And training. Does that make sense? Right? Okay, because the path to success happens like this, whatever your goal is. Doesn't matter what your goal is, you have to do something. It means I have to physically try to attempt something. right? Use the taco, for example. I have to make the taco and then eat the taco. Does that make sense? I have to give effort into doing that. When I do that, it's good. Life is great, right? Softball, I have to make adjustments. When I step into the batter's box, I have to get in the box, right? As I swing, oh, I pulled my head. Okay, head down in the box. Okay, boom, I stepped out. Okay, now I need to make adjustment. Now they told me 15 things, I didn't know what to do. I looked at strike 3. Isn't that how it works? Right? Fix this, fix that, knick-knack, paddywhack. All right, unity. Do we agree? Unity is a core value, collectively working towards the same outcome. Are you all working towards the same goal? Would you agree that right now in this moment, before you walked in that door, that you were all collectively working on the same thing? Okay, cool. Would you agree that you're working all with the same intensity level?
No.
Okay. Would you agree that you all are leaders in your own right, whether senior leader or developing leader? Okay, we all have room for improvement there. Would you agree that everyone's effort when they walk through the door or onto the field is the same? Okay, all right. Would you agree that everyone here is about the team and not about themselves? Okay, so we certainly have identified some room for improvement. We believe that we're all united. Everybody was like, yeah, I think we're all here for the same cause, right? Intensity, everybody's like, nah, I know I'm out here working, right? Okay, but I don't know about everybody else. Leader, we all agreed that there's some form of leadership in everybody. We disagreed or agreed that everybody's effort was not there and that people were thinking about themselves. So if this is where we're at as a team, I've now given you a collective baseline on how to make immediate improvement. Immediate. Overnight. You get to walk out the door and go, you know what? They're right. Maybe I'm not the best teammate. I'm gonna work hard on unity. You know what, at practice, I didn't give my best effort. I kind of was just going through the motions. I kind of just showed up. I knew I wasn't locked in today. So I'm not honoring the core value of intensity. Because even on bad days, did you all know that I had a bad day today? You never will. You'll never know that, I'll tell you now, but in the real world, you would never know that I spent 4 days in Nashville, and as soon as I landed, 2 employees called in. I had to go to one store, my wife had to go to another. I worked till midnight last night. I woke up, got into another store at 7 a.m. I left at 3, 4 o'clock with tacos, and now I'm here talking to you. You would never know that because my intensity level will never let you know that. Ask them. If you've seen me at tournaments, if you played on my team, I show up the same every time. Sometimes I'm a little annoyed, sometimes I'm a little happy, but the intensity level is the same every single time. If anything, it just gets crazier. Keep up, right? Because my goal is to be the best. I'm 45. By the time I'm 55, I want to be sitting on a beach somewhere chilling. But in order to do that, I got to catch up. I got to catch up from 40 years of being behind. But you all are here. Does everybody understand that? Right? Like, seen the memes. 1%, only 1% of girls who ever played college softball get to make it to college. Okay, well, guess where you are? That means you're the 1%. Are you, though? That's up to you. Somebody thought you were. Somebody looked at you and said, that kid can help me win. That kid can build culture. That kid can come in here and make a difference. Okay, do that. Cool. All right, intensity. That's what I need to bring. In order to make a difference, I have to give effort and be intense. Leaders, I want solid core leaders, abiding by new core values, holding teammates accountable, and being the change that you want to see. I love that. That's the first one that you're gonna have trouble with. I just want you to know. The first one that you're gonna have trouble with is leadership. Because the moment one of you goes, hey, how you doing? Remember those core values, right? Somebody's gonna go, yeah? Well, what are you doing about the core values? I didn't see your effort. Okay, psh, stop it. That's why, never mind, right? I ain't even gonna go there. So, unity, intensity, leadership, effort, selflessness. Putting the team first, being happy for others' accomplishments. All right? This is what you're saying will help you become national champions. Okay? Right here, collectively working. Take the core values out. Listen to the sentences. If your team does this, there's no way you cannot improve. I'm not guaranteeing a natty, but if you get one, I'll take a ring. Okay? But other than that, just listen to what you all said, not me, not them, you. Collectively working towards the same outcome. We will not prosper without every single team member. Showing up with high energy and effort in everything you do to make the game more fun. Abiding by the new core values, holding teammates accountable, being the change that you want to see. Leaving it all on the field, giving it your all and not just going through the motions. Putting the team first, being happy for others' accomplishments. If we could just do that, oh, what a place this would be, right? But we let selfishness get in the way. We let complacency get in the way. We let cattiness get in the way. We let laziness get in the way. And we splinter the team and we break it up. These will make or break you this year. When you get to the end of the year, if you don't use this, one of you pull this out of your folder and evaluate how your team did based off what you said you wanted to use to succeed. Does that make sense? This is it. This is the key to moccasin success. It's it. I didn't even have to ask them, right? They gave me some topics. I put the topic out there to you. Is this collectively how you want your team to act? If your team coaches would show up every day and collectively work towards the same outcome, knowing that each team member is important, that if they showed up with high energy and effort and everything they did, it would make the game and practice more fun, that if they abided by these core values, that they would be able to hold each other accountable, make your job easier, and become a team-led unit. If they left it all on the field after every single practice and didn't just go through the motions and put the team first, would you feel like you had a commanding unit that you would be able to guide and navigate? And understand, for you all as players, and they may not like what I'm about to say, this works for them too. If they're acknowledging these core values, then they have to show up unified with a good practice plan that they're going to institute in order to make your team better. They have to show up with an intensity in practice in order to be able to lead champions towards the next step. They have to be great leaders, which they are. They have to give solid effort. And at the end of the day, they have to do what coaches do best, and that's be selfless and sacrifice so that you all can get everything you need as young women trying to win games. But more importantly, when this is over, when they hand you a diploma at USF and they tell you the game is done, it's over, that the little yellow ball is now just a memory collecting dust on your shelf, you will still be able to live by these and go become CEOs, wives, mothers, parents, people that just absolutely kill it in life because you showed up, you were united, you gave intensity, you became a leader, you gave effort, and in everything you do, you thought about other people first. Sounds like a winner to me. So, I am going to put all this together and make it all nice and pretty. On the last page, here's your accountability plan, because none of this means anything if you do not use the A word. How do I hold you accountable? It's just an evaluation process. This is the rule. This is the standard. This is how you measured up against the standard. It's not personal. I don't have to like you. We don't have to be friends, but you have to come. We can be friends. I'd like to be friends. I'd like to like you. But the main goal here is for you to show up, get better, earn your scholarship, and then enjoy life and become that person. Does that make sense? Okay, so how do we do that? Core values, we talked about that. We're not going to beat that up anymore. Core values are important to accountability. They help you set clear expectations. They create a shared understanding of what's acceptable or not. Do we all have an understanding now of what we're going to be held to? Prior to coming in the door, we just used the word accountable. We're going to hold you accountable. To what? Working hard, being loud, perfect. What are we holding you accountable to? Well, now we know. I'm holding you accountable. Thank you so much. I'm holding you accountable to unity, effort, and the other three that you have on there. That is now your judge of what you all said you wanted. So steps for staying accountable, regular check-ins. Coach, I would encourage you, if they don't already, to have accountability partners. So that's somebody on the team that isn't afraid to tell you, isn't afraid to speak, right? And it's not that it can be your best friend, but somebody that's gonna tell you the truth, right? Your best friend will be like, girl, you all right, you gonna be all right. Some will be like, girl, you need to come on, right? So you need that person that wants to understand your goals. Who are you? What do you wanna do? And where you wanna be? That person understands your goals clearly, and they're not afraid to tell you when you're on track and when you're off track. It's the easiest way to have accountability. The second is to write it down in a journal. This is what I want to do. This is how I did it. This is how it felt. This is how I want to make it better next time. Planning and accountability. Just saying it ain't gonna do it. You have to put intentional effort. Peer accountability is what I was just talking about. Working with a teammate to help each other stay on track. Up to you if you want to assign them, or you all just say, hey, you want to be my accountability partner? I suggest picking your own, right? If somebody doesn't know you, you don't vibe well with that person, it might not work out that well, right? So find somebody that will help you help yourself, right? Help me help you, Ella Torres. All right, cool. So when you're done with all that and you believe in that and you say, this is what I'm committing to, there's the signature block. Right? And coach is going to collect these, right? Because when you go out to the club and you're late on a Friday or you're late on a Saturday or you tore up from the floor up and you're not honoring core values, right? Or you're late to practice or you don't get good grades or you're not working hard or whatever it is, here we go. It's the easiest tool for them to be able to say, this is what you said you were going to do. I don't have to get mad. I don't have to raise my voice. I don't have to get wild. I can just say, that's what you said you was gonna do. Now explain to me how you're keeping up with those core values. If you are, great. Now let's get in the game. If you're not, you're not. Does anybody think that's helpful? Have we established something that you can lean on in order to be able to move forward throughout the season? Cool. Look, if you take anything from this lesson before we take the break here, is that it truly is up to you. Right? You show up every day. It's like people yell at you. You see that coach yell across the field to the center fielder, be louder. What does that mean? Right? We need guides. We need actual things. Be louder. Why? Because I need you to relay the proper information to the shortstop so that they know what's happening because you can see what's in front of you. I need the shortstop to talk to the center fielder while they're chasing for a ball because they got their back to the field and don't know what's going on. So that's the reason I need you to be louder, the intentional effort, not just be louder. Okay, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Doesn't matter. I'm just being louder. What is the reason? What is the intent? So if you all take these core values, really evaluate yourself. Like that's it. It literally starts with you, right? 60 for me, right? Why am I wearing all this 60 for me stuff, right? There's 24 hours in a day. Everybody agree with that? Right? 24 hours a day. If you take 60 minutes, whether it's working out, practicing, whether it's reading, whether it's just meditating, 60 minutes a day, it ends up being 3, 4, 5 hours because then you put it into everything you do in your life. But just 60 minutes of intentional effort on something that's important to you, right? For me, it was working out, right? I went from 170 to 220, back down to 160, and I've kept that because it's important to me. It's one of the values, feeling good, looking good, being good. It's important to me, right? So what's important to you? Why do you go out and do what you do every day? Find your reason, find your why. When you start to figure out who you are and why you do things, not because your parents told you this is what you're supposed to do your whole life, not because coach and a professor tells you where you're supposed to be. Why am I here? Why am I doing this? If it's to get a better education, great. Go put yourself into that. Work hard while you're out on the field. Do your 4 years and roll on. Does anybody in here want to be an All-American? Not a trick question. Not everybody needs to raise their hand. But your goal and your intent while you're playing softball at the college level is to be an All-American. Okay, I got 1, 2, okay, 3, 4. Come on, baby, say you love me, right? But if that's your goal, have you sat down and told them that? Do you have a written plan? Like, that takes hard work and effort, right? That takes a lot of hard, you're talking about best in the country, right? I see one that I know, so every year they know him, but Alex Hare was a shortstop or third baseman over at St. Leo. Played for me for 7 years, right? Had the goal to be an All-American, didn't get it until her senior year. But it wasn't until her senior year, she went to her coaches and said, I want to be an All-American. What is it going to take? At the end of her junior year, that's what she said. All summer, all fall long, she put in everything she could possibly do because that was her goal that year. Before that, she wasn't mature enough. She had the athleticism, she had the ability, but she didn't have it here. She didn't want it. Once she figured out who she was and what she wanted, her intensity level increased. She finished as the number 3 shortstop in the country at the Division II level. Just a common kid from right down the road in Trinity, Florida, who went to Mitchell High School, who was an above average shortstop with a below average academic mindset in high school, who figured it out as she got into college and absolutely destroyed it and killed it. Now she works for a company with her own place in Sarasota, making north of 6 figures a year, using everything she's learned along the way in order to go live her life. Goals. What are your goals? Your goal was to play college softball. You're here. Congratulations. Boop. What's next? That's right. Time's running out on the clock. Bells are gonna ring. You'll eventually take that last out. So you're here now. What are you gonna do with it? You've now got core values. You've now got objectives. You've now got goals. Now you gotta go do it. So cool. So the other topic that they wanted me to talk about today was team-led leadership. What does that mean? Team-led leadership. If I say team-led leadership, what am I talking about? We could just regurgitate the sentence. It's leadership, that the team leads themselves, right? That means that these guys aren't telling you every single move that you're making, that you all have leadership qualities, leadership abilities, and things that you do amongst yourselves. So if you want the book definition, it's about empowering every team member to take ownership of their role, support each other, and push toward a common goal. Do we have goal to win conference? Is that important? Okay. What year? When's the last time this team won a conference championship?
2009 or 2010.
Okay, so we're going on almost 15 years. Okay, 15 years. So that, right? Like, man, when you say it like that, like, I mean, some kid was born and ended up in the 10th grade since then, right? You understand what I'm saying? Like, holla at your boy, that's a long time, right? But that's what I'm saying. But we're giggling, but how can that change? Is the talent in this room? Do we have the pitching, the catching? Do we have the fielders? Do we have the outfielders? Do we have the coaching? Do we have the dugout support? Do we have everything we need in order to win a conference championship? Just to be the best in Florida. Okay, cool. If I have everything in the room to just be the best in Florida, that's a great starting point. Then how do I get there? Team-led leadership, meaning everybody understands their role. Okay, if I'm a starter, right, because we have those established, I'm sure, right, then I understand my role. I got to work hard in order to keep that. If I'm not a starter, I'm busting tail in order to go get that spot. Because while you all are friends and buddies, never forget, at the end of the day, you're competing for a starting spot unless you're just here hanging out, which is cool, I guess, right? But most of you play because you want to play. Right? So team-led leadership. Every team member takes ownership of their role, supports each other, pushes towards a common goal. In softball, as just like a student athlete, this means developing a winning mentality, showing up, learning from setbacks, and staying committed to both personal and team growth. Right? Team-led leadership is not, oh man, we just went to Vieira, we went to a tournament, we lost 3 games, we're terrible. We suck, coaches are stuck, throw it all in the back. It's not team-led leadership, right? Somebody taking that reign, going, hey, you know, we didn't play our best this weekend, but when we get to practice, we're gonna put in our best effort, and then everybody shows up leading themselves, which in turn, if we all control our own behavior, attitude, and effort, is the whole team then not controlled? Right? If everybody shows up positive, is the whole team positive? It's after 8 o'clock. Cinderella gonna need to go to bed, the pumpkin about to come out, all right? So if everybody shows up with a positive attitude, is the team in that moment positive? Right, correct. So you control the controllables. You control how you lead, how you act, how you react, what you say, what you do, and the energy you bring to a situation. Right? You control in the next 45 minutes whether you stay distracted or whether you stay engaged and get something out of it. You control whether when you walk out the door, you're a team that leads and we show up with goals and intentions. You control whether or not tomorrow, playing here or there, okay? That when you show up tomorrow, right, you're the first one in the locker room, because for some of you, right, is this your first game? So this is, so freshman, first time you're suiting up in a college game? Am I right in saying that? Okay, so let's acknowledge that. That's a moment. right? Even if you don't play, that's a moment. You're gonna play against another college. You're gonna be in the stat book, right? Even though we probably don't keep fall stats, but they're gonna keep it. They're gonna look, right? Here we are, seniors, right? Okay, this is the last one. This is it. This is the last first game ever. Okay? I'm just telling, look, I'm real. I'm gonna keep it real, right? We can live in a fairy tale that, in May, something's gonna continue, or we can say, use it for everything you got, but guess what? In 9 months, you better figure something out. Scholarship's over, you gotta go get an apartment, get a job, get a house, all that stuff they told you about real life. Holla at your boy. That's what I'm talking about. So here we go. Goal. Embrace a winning mentality through self-leadership, accountability, and growth. The easiest way to hold your team accountable is to hold yourself accountable. Ella Torres, how do you become the best pitcher on this team?
By working hard.
That's it. It's not a trick question. By working hard, by showing up every single day and being the best version of myself. That's team-led leadership. Right? Knowing that I'm going to control me, the controllables, the things that are on me, I'm going to be the best at. And if I do that, and you do that, and you do that, and you do that, then collectively as a unit, now we've started to make progress. If I'm a train and one wheel moves, all the other wheels on the train are gonna be like, nope, you stand still. But if I can get every wheel on that train moving, now we can pull a whole lot of stuff with a whole lot of power. Does that make sense? Understanding a winning mentality. Describe what, all right, see, you all just fill these out, right? They don't know it yet, but I'm obligating them to a follow-up Zoom in November. That's what we're gonna do, right? So you all are gonna fill this out over the next couple of weeks, and we'll set a date, and then we're gonna meet on a little Zoom where you all can be in your dorm rooms and be highly distracted while I talk, okay? It works, I promise you. I've done it with a couple others. And then we'll go over it and we'll finish it, and then you'll go on Christmas break, and then it's up to you. Does that make sense? Okay, so we'll fill these out along the way. Describe what a winning mentality means to you. I'm gonna give you my definition, right? It is literally the relentless pursuit of whatever it is my goals are at the time, and not ever sacrificing anything, and I'm going. That's it. Right? If you step up to the pool and you put your toe in it, you're gonna be like, ooh, that's cold. I'm the guy that just jumps. I just let it happen. We'll control the chaos later and figure out what happened, right? So a winning mentality. I'm showing up and this is what I'm doing. And if it doesn't work, I'm adjusting. And then that's what I'm doing, right? Everybody always adjusts when the water gets wavy and hard. Do you know on calm waters, you still have to make adjustments? If I'm a boat on calm water, guess what that current underneath it still does? Brings me all the way over here and I end up in, South Tampa Bay, right? So even calm waters, you need adjusting. Not just when things go wrong. Does that make sense? We should constantly be adjusting our path in order to continue straight. Or if we find that we've gone somewhere and can't go no further, hit that right pivot, hit that left pivot, and understand the next path may be where you need to be for that phase in your life. Why is a winning mentality important for you as a student athlete? We're gonna answer that one. Why is a winning mentality important for you as a student athlete?
Because it applies in every aspect of your life. It applies in school.
Yeah.
Every part of your sport.
Right, because if I win a game, but I fail an interview, doesn't matter. Right? Doesn't matter because the game ends, life continues, right? So while I'm here, treat it like it's life. Give it 100% because when I go into the real world, if I don't show up to work on time like I don't to practice, I get fired. In the real world, if I'm told that I have this assignment to do and I don't take it serious, I get fired, right? I can't just show up and just go through the bullpen. I can't just show up and go through the hitting session. I can't just show up and go through the quiz and the study session. I have to show up with the intentional effort, the winning mindset to be able to be the best version of myself and get better every day. Let's turn the page. Does anybody know the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset? Yes, ma'am.
The fixed mindset is like
when you're just like stuck on something that you're already able to do instead of like wanting to fix it and a growth mindset, you see what you can improve on and you work more to improve on.
I love it, right? I love that. I see what I need to improve on and I work towards it. Or you ever hear somebody go, it is what it is. Ain't nothing we can do about it. Ugh, go ahead.
Just kind of like what she said, the fixed mindset is where you focus more on the failure, but the growth mindset is where you see the opportunity to learn and not make that same mistake twice.
Yeah, that's right, right? Growing, continual growth is how you get better. The moment you think you've arrived is typically when you find yourself out the door, right? You constantly have to look at failure and look at it and go, not I suck, not this is the end, not this is final, but how can I get better? What did I do over the course of the last week, the last month, the last year, leading me up to this moment? Because let me be clear, the decisions that you make today, right now, in this moment, they will affect you for the rest of your life and so many years to come. The moves that you're making right now will decide the woman that you're going to be 5, 10, 15 years from now. If you don't believe me, go back and look at the 12-year-old girl, the 14-year-old girl, the 16-year-old girl that went to all those lessons, took all those AP classes, missed all those things, did all that stuff in order to get you here. Who didn't go to every homecoming? You missed at least one, right? You had 4 times to be a princess. You said this game was more important. Who missed birthday parties at their friends, right? Okay. Who was in Colorado and missed summer vacation? Right? Okay. Who went to California? You went to California. You all right. You understand what I'm saying? But my point there is, right? My point there is in all of this stuff, right? There was a girl who said, this is what I want. She sat there. She signed that paper. Parents, coaches, people gave speeches. We bought cakes. We did all this stuff. What was it for? Was it for that moment or was it for this moment? Because if it was for that moment, it's over and you don't need to be here anymore. But it was for this moment, if this is why you signed the paper, then by golly, there's no one here controlling your greatness but you. That's it. No one. Because even if somebody else doesn't do their job, a fixed mindset keeps you from doing yours. A growth mindset says, hey, you don't want to do it? I'm going to do it. And then when I perfect it, I'm going to come back and I'm going to bring you with me, right? Because our goal while we're making ourselves better is to make the world and the people around us better. That's the whole thing of community, people, humanity, and how we get better as a unit. Does that make sense? Cool, let's keep it rolling. Growth mindset. Describe one way you currently show a growth mindset. Right? They give an example of I ask for feedback to improve, okay? A growth mindset, right? Is anybody ever, you get done with that at bat and you go to the girl and you're like, hey, inside pitch, you had this, right? Okay, and you listen to that and then you go back to the dugout and then you give feedback. Coach tells you, hey, if you did this or run this out or do this. If you in that moment go, yeah, whatever, or or you move on with it, you've got a fixed mindset. If you sit there and by the time you get your helmet and your batting gloves and your bat back and you come to the front of the dugout and you start cheering again and you think about ways that you can grow and improve, that's a growth mindset, what's going to get you better. Does that make sense? Cool. So we want you to set goals. Does anybody have goals written down? Like, these are my goals for this year. I have season goals that I've written down and I know what they are and I'm working towards them. Okay, 2 hands out of 26. I challenge you all, just take a piece of paper, right? Everybody have those big tall mirrors when you get dressed in the morning, right? Where you check out the fit, you check out the flex, right? Take that, put that right in the top of the morning, the corner of the mirror, right? So when you get ready in the morning and you see it and you got it, now you can move on with it. Does that make sense? Start your day with something positive, your goal. This is where I want to be. This is where I want to go. This is how I'm going to get there. And I see it every day and remind myself, right? I have 25 clients of mine that are 14 to 18-year-old girls. I tell them to take a Sharpie and write positive things on that mirror, right? Because you all look in that mirror 50 times a day, right? So if you read something positive about yourself, you have no choice but to think positive about yourself. It's your mirror. So when you look in your reflection, put something there. You read it every morning. whatever, might help you. Make sense? Goals for the season, write them down. How do you know how to get somewhere if you don't have the building blocks to get it? So if you're one of the 24 kids that did not raise their hands because you didn't write your goals down, right? Let's talk about different goals. Freshmen, goals might look like understanding school, getting into the flow, understanding what my coaches want, getting better every single practice, showing up with this growth mindset, all of that. As a sophomore, it might be like, okay, they got film on me now. This is the year where I'm supposed to fall back. How do I give more effort to make sure I'm truly understanding my role and how I can improve? If you're a junior, you're supposed to have broken out. You're supposed to have understand the process. Now you're leading. Now you're showing everybody where to go. You've still got 2 years here. It's on your back. If you're a senior, you've earned the right to be able to graduate in 9 months. What are your plans? What are your goals? You should have goals for the season, but more importantly, when June 1st comes around, where are we at? What's happening? Because at that point in time, it's over. And you're either unlocking your dorm room and going back home, and that's okay. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I didn't figure out what I wanted to do until I was 40. Just ain't living with me that long, but you can go home after college and figure some things out, right? Anybody who tells you you gotta have it all figured out tomorrow, they lying to you. But they're not lying to you when they tell you you gotta work hard every day in order to figure it out. You ain't gotta have it figured out, but I can't sit back and chill not trying to figure it out. That's the difference, right? Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant every day woke up, Serena Williams wake up every single day trying to figure it out. That's why they're the best. Others wake up, try to figure it out, can't do it, and go, well, that was fun. Okay. That's why you're not the best, right? That's why you don't wake up with a growth mindset. They're fixed mindset people. Make sense? Reframing challenges and building resilience. So here's a little assignment. Couldn't find my word there. Challenges are part of every season. Did anybody think they're going to be challenged this season? Right? You're going to play some good teams. You're going to face some good competition, right? You're going to have coach wanting to push you harder, expecting more out of you, saying, hey, you're doing good, but how much further could we be if? Everybody love the if word. If and but. Man, if I had $1 for every if and but, I might know something instead of knowing what, right? I'm just telling you. If and but. All right, set a goal to embrace growth mindset throughout the season. That's where it's all at. If you're not setting goals, you're missing out. Shortstop, who's a shortstop? Okay, 1, 2, 2. That's it? So you two are playing the middle. It's you versus her. That's why, is that where we're at? Okay, so that's it. Now we know where we're at, right? So you have goals written down. You have goals written down, right? This is where we're at. So how are you? I'm sorry, competition is what it is. Your goal is to support each other, but if there's only 2, right, you have to friendly, hey girl, how you doing? I'm coming to whoop you. Right? Hey girl, how you doing? I'm coming to whoop you, right? And internally you have to build that, because what are you gonna do? You're gonna make her better. What are you gonna do? You're gonna make her better. And that's how it works. Second base, other side, say Adele, right? Who's saying hello from the other side, right? Okay, you just 2? That's right, we only had 4 middles. So you 2 are pushing each other, right? Outfielders, okay, again, how many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not slow pitch, so I can only play 3 of you, right? So you're pushing each other. Catchers, 1, 2, 3, okay, right? Deep behind the dish, so you're pushing each other, right? What are your goals? How do we get better pitchers? Lots of y'all, man, you always had a lot of arms. That's what happens when a head coach is a pitcher. She recruits pitchers. What was that? Who do we play? You pitched a different kid every inning for 7 innings.
I did it for like 12 games.
Oh, did you? I was only there for 1. But I'm sitting there, I'm like, first inning, I'm like, okay, second inning, I'm like, all right, I went 3rd inning, 4th. Yeah, was it? That was the game. Yeah, that was wild. Mo don't play. All right, cool. So here we go. What is a recent challenge? We're going to talk about this on the Zoom. What is a recent challenge you had? Describe a recent challenge you faced on or off the field. Anybody want to share? We can talk about one. Recent challenge, go ahead.
Getting injured.
Okay, you had the thumb surgery for real? Okay, cool, right? So she had the thumb surgery, right? So how did that limit you? I mean, obviously you couldn't play, you had surgery, you couldn't throw, you couldn't do anything. Were you out? Did you miss time? Like, I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, it was like at the beginning of the season.
Last year?
So, yeah.
Okay, so you missed a whole year? Okay, see, I didn't know that. Okay, so how did you deal with that all year?
It was really discouraging at first, but I tried to like do the best I could to like stay involved in practice and
Okay.
doing stuff with my glove or one-handed things.
So once you started the initial heel, were you able to do other things with your body, lifting, squatting, or was it like,
Yeah, I was still able to do other stuff.
Okay.
Like modified.
did you get support? Obviously teammates were like, hey girl, sorry.
Yeah.
They give you the thumbs up? Okay, that was a terrible joke, that's terrible. All right. It's all good, man. It's all good. All right. I don't know where to go from there. I don't know where to go from there. All right, cool. So this is what you're gonna do, right? Similar to her recent challenge. She had to hurt her thumb. She needed to get surgery. Describe the recent challenge. That's it. How did you initially react? Was it with a fixed or growth mindset? When you first got the injury, we were like, yeah, there's room for growth. Probably not, right? You're probably like, yeah. Right? You're probably upset, right? That this is the end, I'm limited. It makes you very upset, kind of like there's no way out, like, okay, another thing in my life, yada, 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 right? But over time, as you healed, but you went through therapy, you started to really come back around, and then now you're throwing, you back to playing?
Yes.
Okay, are you back full time?
Yes.
All right, she's back, baby, ready to go. All right, cool. How can you reframe let's ask you, how did you reframe that challenge to focus on getting better? You said it took you a little bit, but once you were able to do that, how did that make your probably healing process better too? Because the mind controls a lot of healing throughout the body when we release that stress and anxiety as well.
I think it definitely made me like more excited to like be on the field and be able to practice and do everything.
Yeah. Reminded you how the game feels to not play it, right? Because sometimes can't we take advantage of that, right? When we're here every day, right? Especially if you are one of those 48 game starters, you start to feel like, okay, that's my spot. And they move you down one spot and you're like, whoa, what's going on? Nothing. We just wanted you to feel that way for a minute, right? So work, right? This table here, I keep losing them. All right, cool. And then you're gonna think of a potential challenge you may face this season. How will you approach it with resilience and a winning mentality? I'm gonna tell you, all of you are gonna struggle with core values, right? If they use them the way that I'm gonna show them to use them, they're gonna boost you up, but you're gonna have that dip where you're like, it's like, and then you're gonna realize it, and then it's all gonna come together, and then you're gonna move forward. Does that make sense? Cool. And the accountability plan is the same, so we're gonna wrap it up there. I'm gonna tell you this, if you follow the core values that we created here tonight, if you actually rely on each other as teammates, if you don't approach it with my way or the highway mentality, if you approach this season with a growth mentality, unity, if I show up every day united as a team, can I win? Right, even if I don't win the game, can I win as a team? Okay, if I show up intense, I've got a high intensity level every single day, right? I'm showing up. Do you guys have intense practices? Okay, who controls the intensity level in a practice? You do. I guarantee you, if you all show up and you give what you know practice is supposed to look like, right? I've seen her at a camp. I've seen her at a camp. I've seen her at a camp, right? But these two here, like, again, I haven't seen you work a whole ton of camps, but those two, I've seen them at a camp. I know their intensity level. I know their energy level. I know what they can bring to a practice. I know what happens in a camp when kids are kind of just there and how they feed and change it, right? And I know the difference. You ever walk up to somebody, you're like, hey, good morning. And people are like, good morning. And you're like, hey, let's try that again. Good morning. And then everybody goes, good morning. It's the dumbest thing ever. Just show up with that intensity level. Like, I don't understand it. Just show up that way. Because if you do, you're gonna get better. That's it. It's impossible not to get better with a positive mindset and high intensity level, being united, having leaders, giving strong effort, and sacrificing for the team. And you top that with a growth mindset of continually wanting to get better. All of that comes back to the A word and accountability. Because if I don't follow any of this, what Rafiki say? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. All we did tonight was eat tacos and hang out. That's it. And if that's what happens, then you're gonna wake up tomorrow and you're gonna go to your game and you're gonna go, what happened? Well, that'll be for you to figure out, right? But if you follow the plan that we designed today, I'm just telling you, right? If you follow the plan we designed today, over time, right? $1 turns into $3.65. One little bit of effort turns into wins. Wins turn into confidence. Confidence turns into conference. Conference turns into region, right? And then we come back for the alumni game and we get to add 2025, 2026 on the board. We get to put some updated pictures in here instead of, 1993. You understand what I'm saying? Right? We get to carry on a legacy and really just be our best version of ourselves. Does that make sense? Did y'all feel like this was beneficial?
Yes.
Did you feel, again, 30% of you are gonna walk out of here and go, you know what? He's right. That was real. I need to make some serious changes in my life. 30% of you thought I was done and you're mad that I'm still talking right now, right? You're like, God, this guy quit 4 times. And the other 40%, you're where I'm trying to make a difference because you are the ones that decide whether or not we win a national championship. The 40% in the middle. The 30% that are engaged, you know who they are, they're waiting for you. The 30% that are negative Nancy's, they're gonna find themselves somewhere else eventually anyway. So the 40% that are on the fence, you're the difference maker, right? It's always that 40%. If you turn in and you take that 40 and you become the 70% that wants to win, you win. If you take that 40% and you slide it to the whatever, you don't. Does that make sense? So it's a decision today, when this is all over, how are you going to use it? What intentional effort are you going to use in your life? How are you going to become a better teammate? How are you going to make your life the best that it can be? Hoops out.